Hey everyone, how are you guys? My name is Akash Dev and today is the day 28th of my hashtag 30 days of talking to camera challenge. It makes me feel really happy that I came this far. I couldn't have ever imagined that I could literally record myself for 28 days straight and talk in English in front of the camera. And since I have accomplished a great task, it makes me feel very happy. And now more 2 days are remaining for me to complete this challenge. So if you are watching this video first time, please tell me after watching my first video and watching this video that have I improved a little bit in my have my speaking skills improved a little bit or my communication skills improved a little bit. If you think there is any changes, then you please comment, and if you think that by applying any tips I could improve my skills a little bit more or improve the quality of my videos a little bit more, then you are free to suggest that, and please don't do any negative comment. So never mind, although no one is watching my video, so it doesn't make sense whether whatever I am speaking. So yeah, let's come back to our topic, what I will be going to talk in this video. So in my previous video I had talked about various algorithm design techniques. So the techniques which I had discussed were: first one was brute force technique, second was greedy algorithms, third was dynamic programming, fourth was divide and conquer, fifth was reduction, and sixth was backtracking. So I had discussed these 6 topics very briefly. Now in this video I will be discussing the first topic, that was the brute force topic, in detail. Now in my upcoming videos I will choose each one of these topics and try to discuss those topics in much detail. If time permits, or if it is possible for me, then I would definitely record videos on each of these topics. And if my college reopens, then it will be very difficult for me to record the videos. So yeah, let's see whatever I can do. I will try to upload videos as much as possible. So let's start with our topic, that is brute force algorithms. Now, what is brute force algorithm? Brute force algorithm simply means the algorithm or the solution which comes to your mind directly after looking at the problem. It may not be the optimal solution, or it may be the optimal solution. It could be anything, but it is the solution which comes to your mind directly after looking at the problem. When brute force doesn't always need to have the least time complexity and the least space complexity, but we could try to optimize this brute force solution in many cases. So let me read the definition of the brute force which I have written in my script. So brute force is a straightforward approach of solving a problem based on the problem statement. It is one of the easiest approaches to solve a particular problem. It is useful for solving problems which has small set of data size. So now most of the cases there are another algorithm techniques that can be used to get a better solution for the same problem. Some examples of brute force solutions are: first one is bubble sort algorithm, second is selection sort algorithm, third is sequential search in array, fourth is counting power of a to the power n by multiplying a n times, fifth one is convex hull problem, then we have string matching problems, then we have exhausting search, traveling salesman problem, knapsack problem, and many more problems. So let's discuss all of these problems in much detail. Now our first problem. So what our first problem is? Bubble sort problem. So how bubble sort works? In bubble sort, what we do is, bubble sort, from the name itself you can have a little bit of idea like what is bubble sort. So bubble sort is basically a sorting algorithm in which we sort an array. So how bubble sort works is, first I would take the first element and compare it with the next element. If the next element is smaller than the first element, then the swap will occur, otherwise it will traverse to the next element. Now this would happen for each and every element. So then the first element would like compare with each and every element of the array, and then it would come to its correct position. Now for the second element, then it would come to its correct position. Now third element, now fourth element, and likewise the whole array would be traversed. So here we could see that each element is compared to all the other elements. So the first element is compared to all the other elements except itself. Second element is then again compared to all the other elements except itself. So here we can see that it's taking n square time complexity. Yes, because n and multiplied by n. So n multiplied by n is taking n square time complexity. So the time complexity of this algorithm, that is binary search algorithm, bubble sort algorithm, is very large. That is big of n square. Now let's talk about our next problem. Problem is selection sort algorithm. So what exactly selection sort is? So in selection sort, first we take the first element and then we compare it with the all the elements in the array, and if any least we come across the element which is the least, then we would we would swap it with the first element and then again we would compare. Likewise, we are just taking all the lesser elements to the first and then the rest of the array would automatically be sorted. This is basically the idea. Now let me read the definition. The entire given list of n elements is traversed to find its smallest element and exchange it with the first element. Then the array is traversed again to find the second element and exchange it with the second element. After n minus 1 passes, the array will be completely sorted. So what would be the time complexity of this algorithm? The time complexity of this algorithm, since it's also comparing n square times, so the time complexity would be big O of n square, and this is similar to bubble sort. Now third one is sequential search algorithm. So what basically sequential search says is, we have to find a particular element in an array. So this is like a very simple algorithm. How we can find this particular element in an array? To find a search for a particular element in a given array, we can traverse the whole array, and whenever I found that element, then I could simply return that index. It is very similar as linear search algorithm. So while traversing the whole array, suppose the array has n elements, so what would be my time complexity? My time complexity would be big O of n in worst case, and in best case, suppose I got my answer in the first element also, so in best case the time complexity would be constant, but in worst case the time complexity would be big O of n. Now let's talk about our next problem. So next problem is computing power of a to the power n, computing a to the power n. So how can we compare a to the power n? We can compare a to the power n by multiplying a n times. That is, we will multiply a by a one times, then we will multiply a by itself again one more time, then one more time, and then one more time, until we reaches n times. That is 1 time, 2 time, 3 time to the n times. So computing a to the power n, where a is greater than 0 and n is a non-negative integer, based on the definition of the exponential, n minus 1 multiplication are required in the brute force method. So what would be the input? Input would be a real number a and an integer n which is equals to 0, and output would be a to the power n, n which is not equals to 0. Now you must have guessed the time complexity of this algorithm. The time complexity, since we are multiplying n minus 1 times, so the time complexity would be big O of n. Now third problem is what is our third problem? So our third problem is string matching problem. So what we have to do in string matching problem is, a brute force string matching algorithm takes two input. First text contains of n characters and a pattern consists of m characters, where m is either less than or equals to n. Now the algorithm starts by comparing the pattern with the beginning of the text. Each character of the pattern is compared to the corresponding character of the text. Comparison starts from left to right until all the characters are matched or a mismatch is found. The same process is repeated until a match is found. Each time the comparison starts from one position to the right. So this was clear. This is very similar to like linear search algorithm. What would be an input? And so our input would be an array of n characters representing a text, and an array of p from O to m characters representing a pattern. Now what would be my output? Our output would be the position of the first character in the text that starts the first, matching substring of the search is successful, and -1 otherwise. So what we are trying to do here is, we are given a string of, like, suppose I have given a string of n characters and I have given another string of m characters which is always smaller than n. Now m is following a pattern, so if I find that same pattern one more time in n, then I would return that pattern, or if I can't find that pattern one more time in the previous string, then I would return false. That is, we can't find that in our string. So that's why what will be the time complexity? The time complexity would be big O of n, because in the worst case, suppose my m is of one character and the n is of n characters, and in worst case the element which I am trying to find in m is at the end. So in the worst case the time complexity will be big O of n, because in that case we have to traverse to the whole string. Sorry, not exactly n, it would be mn, because we were comparing each element like it is similar to bubble sort algorithm. Now which is our next problem? Our next problem is closest pair brute force algorithm. So what is closest pair brute force algorithm? In the closest pair brute force algorithm is to find two closest points in a set of n points in a 2D space. Suppose we have given a 2D space, that is with x and y axis, and there we have many points. So what we have to do is, we have to find a pair of points which is closest to each other, and we have to return that such pair which is closest to each other. A brute force implementation of this problem comes with the distance between each pair of distant point and find the smallest distance pair. So what we are trying to do here is, we would take each element and compare its distance from all the other elements. Then we will take another element and then compute its distance from all the other elements. And computing the distance, we could use Euclidean distance counting formula, and this computation takes big O of one time, because computation each time will take constant time. but comparing with each and other elements would take big of n times. So n dots would be compared to other n dots, so the time complexity would be big of n square. Now our next type of problem. So what is the next type of problem? The next type of problem is convex hull problem. So what basically is convex hull problem? Convex hull of a set of points is the smallest convex polygon that contains all the points. All the points of the set will lie on the convex hull or inside the convex hull. The convex hull of a set of points is subset of point in the given sets. Now how we can find this subset? It's very simple. Subset points are the boundary of the convex hull. We take any two consecutive points of the boundary and the rest of the point will lie on its side. So basically what we are trying to do is we are given a polygon, and then that we could take any two vertices, that is any two subset points, and all the rest points of the set would lie in the border of the set. Suppose 2 points x1, y1 and x2, y2 make the line ax plus by equals to c, where a is equals to y2 minus y1 and b equals to x1 minus x2 and c is equals to x1 y2 minus y1 x2, and divide the plane by ax plus by minus c less than 0 and ax plus by minus c greater than 0. So we need to check ax plus by minus c for rest of the points. If we find all the points in this set lies one side of the line with either all have ax plus by minus c less than 0 or all the points have ax plus by minus c greater than 0, then we will add these points to the desired convex hull point set. For each of n minus 1 by 2 pairs of distant points, one needs to find the sign of ax plus by minus c in each of the other n minus 2 points. What is the worst case of the algorithm? The worst case of this algorithm is big of n cube. Yes, the worst case is big of n cube, and yes, this is a brute force algorithm. Now our next type of problem. So our next type of problem is exhaustive search. Exhaustive search is a brute force approach applies to combinational problems. In exhaustive search, we generate all the possible combinations. At each step, we try to find if the combinations satisfy the problem constraints. Either we get a desired solution which satisfies the problem constraint, or there is no solution. What are the examples of exhaustive search? The example of exhaustive search are traveling salesman problem and knapsack problem. Now let's discuss both of these problems in detail. First one, traveling salesman problem. So what is traveling salesman problem? So let me give you an example. Suppose you have ordered something on Amazon and that guy comes to deliver you at your home. Now there are many other people who in your same locality who the guy has to deliver. Now if the guy go each and every time, then it would be take a lot of time complexity. So in that case, that guy will design a roadmap that first I will go to this house, then this house, then this house, then this house. In that case, my time complexity would be reduced. Suppose it goes to the last house, then the first house, then the second last house, then the second house. In that way, you have to travel a lot. So we have to reduce the time complexity. Now in the traveling salesman problem, we need to find the shortest tour through a given set of n cities that a salesperson visit each city exactly once before returning to the city where he has started. Alternatively, finding the shortest Hamiltonian circuit in a weighted connected graph, a cycle that passes through all the vertices of the graph exactly once. So I have already discussed what is a Hamiltonian cycle and what is a weighted connected graph. Now let me give you an example. Suppose we have a graph with vertices like A, B, C and D. The weight from A to B is 1, the weight from A to C is 8, the weight from A to D is 5, the weight from B to C is 3, the weight from C to D is 6 and the weight from B to D is 4. So what would be our tour cost? If you go from A to B, B to C, C to D and D to again A, so our tour cost will be 1 plus 3 plus 6 plus 5, which is equals to 15. In the other case, suppose you go from A to B, then B to D, then D to C, then our total cost will be 1 plus 4 plus 6 plus 8, which is equals to 19. Previously it was 15 and now it is 19. Suppose it goes from A to C, then C to B, then B to D. Now and from obviously D to again A. Now my tour cost will be 20. If you go from A to C, C to D, D to B, B to A, then my tour cost will be 19. If you go from A to D, D to B, B to C, C to A, then my tour cost will be 20. Then if you goes A to D, D to C, C to B, B to A, then my tour cost will be 15. So what is my least tour cost? My least tour cost is 15. So my my salesman will either go from A to D, D to C, C to B, B to A, or it could go from A to B, B to C, C to D and D to A. In traveling salesman problem, we need to make sure that our weight is minimized. So what is the cost of calculating one path? The cost of calculating one path is n. And what is the total cost for finding the shortest path? The total cost of finding the shortest path is big of n factorial. Yes, it is a lot. It is a lot. Now our last problem for today is knapsack problem. So what is a knapsack problem? We are given an item with cost C1, C2, C3, C2 up to Cn and volume V1, V2, V3, V4 up to Vn and knapsack of capacity Vmax. We have to find the most valuable maximum of Cj that fits in the knapsack, that is Vj less than equals to Vmax. What would be the solution? The solution is one of the subset of the set of open objects taking 1 to n objects at a time. So the time complexity is big of 2 to the power n. Now, what is the conclusion for this video? After watching this video, you could conclude that brute force is the first algorithm that comes into our mind when we see a problem. As I have already discussed in the introduction part, they are the simplest algorithms that are very easy to understand. However, these algorithms rarely provide an optimum solution. In many cases, we would find other effective algorithm that is more efficient than the brute force method, and many times it actually happens. So I hope you are able to understand what a brute force method is and when we can apply brute force method, some examples of how brute force work. In the upcoming videos, I will discuss about greedy algorithm, dynamic programming, divide and conquer algorithms, and many more videos are coming soon. And if you like my videos, if you enjoyed the videos, not exactly enjoyed because I am not making any entertainment content, if you find this video useful, or if you think that I am doing something good work, or like I am learning something, so yes, I am learning, because if you are doing something consistently, then you are actually learning. But if the content delivery is good, or like better than my previous videos, so please consider hitting that like button, or you could give your feedback in the comments. I would really love to have your feedback. And please don't give the such comments like please remove the background, or do this or do that is not possible for me to achieve, because this is my room, right? And I can't change my house. I can only change the way I speak, or I can only change the things which are in my hand. I can't do anything which is not in my hand. Like in this case, I wanted to improve my communication skills and improve my English speaking skills. That's why I decided to record myself in camera for each and every day for 30 days and see how my English speaking skills and communication skills improve by time. And now I think that today, like I am speaking for like 10 minutes or 5 minutes fluently without hesitating and without using and all these stuffs. So I think that my skills have improved a little bit. If you see my first video, in my first video I was scared a lot. I was not able to look into the camera and make eye contact with the camera. I was not at all confident, but I think my confidence has increased a little bit. I know if I would record more videos and do it more consistently, then someday my confidence would be, and my communication skills would be at like very good level. But I don't think currently I am able to do that. So I am just doing the things which I can do and which is achievable for me currently. So yeah, thanks for everyone who have watched the video this far. I really appreciate your efforts. And yeah, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Bye bye.